Hey everyone, welcome back to AndyDemos, and just in time for spring is the Hanami Fuzz from ThorpyFX. This one is all about note bloom and just a pure germanium-based circuit with not only germanium transistors but also diodes, and this is a limited run, so let's check this one out. Named after the Japanese tradition of flower viewing and decorated with cherry blossoms, the ThorpyFX Hanami is anything but delicate. This all-original design is like the spiritual successor to the Boneyard, sitting comfortably between that and the fallout cloud. Inside, the pedal's loaded with 4 new old stock germanium transistors and a new old stock germanium diode. Hanami's unique voice is loaded with smooth compression and warmth that germanium gain stages and clipping are known for. Bass and treble controls are fully active, letting you cut or boost frequencies. Whether you're looking to thicken up single coils or sculpt those mid-forward tones, the EQ responds musically and always finds a way to inspire. The boost or fuzz amount pushes you from gentle old-school saturation to thick aggressive fuzz, all while somehow keeping it together without the mud or flubbiness of vintage designs. Built with top-shelf components and Thorpy's signature attention to detail, this limited edition pedal is as reliable as it is expressive. Be sure to catch them while they're in full bloom at ThorpyFX.com. You know, kind of like a classic muff or the fallout cloud, the more you increase the gain, the more you're going to hear those treble overtones and that kind of raspiness. So I like to start about 2 o'clock, and as I increase the gain, kind of back off on the treble simultaneously. And you'll soon find out you don't have to have a lot of bass for this fuzz to sound big. Like I said, it kind of opens up and gets a little bit more aggressive when you increase the fuzz. With the fuzz all the way up, you could certainly back off on the bass and tighten things up, and maybe back off on the treble a little bit more just to get a more refined fuzz tone, something that's just going to have a really nice quick attack, despite this being a germanium-based fuzz. And there is a tremendous amount of output on the Hanami, so let's back off on the gain, increase the output, and also, you know, if we back off on the bass and treble, we're kind of in like a classic treble booster, but it definitely has that warm germanium quality to it. kind of an Easter egg here when I was playing around earlier. I found there's a little bit of octave up kind of baked in here, and it really reveals itself on those lower gain settings, especially if you have the volume back a bit. And this is one of those fuzz pedals that just loves to adapt to other pickup types. So let's hear this humbucker in the bridge, and I've got it detuned a little bit too. And you know, it isn't a fuzz face variant. We have a lot of gain stages, so you can't really expect it to clean up like a fuzz face. But that being said, it's some really cool kind of, you know, almost gated Velcro texture and a lot warmer tone when you back off on the guitar volume. And like you saw with the bass and treble all the way back, you don't have to be afraid of extreme settings. So let's go the other way, increase the bass and treble and get more of a scooped classic muffy tone here. I also like to keep the gain around 80%, so it's getting that brightness, but it's not completely flubbing out, and it really helps out with humbuckers as well. Well, there you go. The Hanami Fuzz definitely sitting somewhere in between the Fallout Cloud and the Boneyard Fuzz, complete with all that nice germanium warmth. And you can find out all about this limited edition pedal at ThorpyFX.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on AndyDemos.